Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Our remote learning for this week is going to be Google Graphing and Google Docs and the interface between the two. What I'm going to do right now is a somewhat short tutorial video on how to make a Google Graph or Google chart and how to insert it into Google Documents, which is a really simple way, once you get the hang of it, to make absolutely perfect graphs and data sections of your lab report. I'm going to X out my lovely face right now and go right into the Google section and hit pause a lot, follow along at your own pace, and let's see what happens. So here I am on my Google Drive. I'm going to create two new documents. I'm going to create a new Google Doc. This is going to be my lab report. All of you guys are pretty familiar with this. And then I'm going to go back here to my Google Drive again, and I'm going to create a new Google Sheets. This is where I'm going to be crunching all of my numbers. All right. So what I've got is a lab report in Google Docs, and I've got a data table in Google Sheets. This can be done on a phone. It's easier for me because I'm old and I get big chunky fingers to use a computer. So the data table is the first thing we're going to work on. And I'm looking at my notes that I took from my lab. And here is some data that I've got written down in my notebook. And I'm just going to transfer it to the Google Sheets here. So time in seconds. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. And then I've got over here distance. And that was in meters. And I had car A, car B, and car C. All right, and according to the data, car A went 3.4, and then it went 6.7, and then it went 9.8, and then it went, looks like 11.5, and then it looks like 15.3. Car B went 5.1 meters, car by second 2, looking over 10.4, 15.8, 20.7, and then down here it went 26.9. Car C was significantly different. It went 0.6, and then it went 1.8, and then it went, looking over there, 3.2, looking over again, copying from my notebook, 5.7, and then 9.0. All right, so this is just a simple data table. What we can do, I'm just going to highlight this stuff. I can go here, I can center it, I can go here, I can box it. I'm going to put this, I'm going to merge this. So merge cells right there. There's a data table. Nothing really spectacular, but this is the data from a lab that we did last year that I had in my notebook. So great. There's your data table. Looks awesome. That's your raw data. But what I'm going to be asking you guys to do a lot of is to turn this into a graph or a chart. First thing you do, highlight exactly what you want to graph, okay? So you're going to highlight not only the actual data, but these headers as well. These headers as well. And then you can go here and click on Insert Chart or Insert Chart. Either way gets you to the same thing. What is that thing? Spinning, spinning, spinning. Okay. It's called your chart editor. All right. So this looks pretty good, to be honest with you. All right. Car B seems to go pretty fast. Car A is kind of in the middle. Car C, kind of the slowest. All right. This looks really good so far. But now what we need to do is just look at it and customize it. It's already taken us here. So we're going to go to Customize, Chart Style. All right. We can smooth out the lines, different border if you want, different background. All right. Fonts, change up your fonts. All right. Don't really play around too much with that. Make sure, and you guys all know how to graph, that your axes and your titles are correct. So this title shouldn't be car A, car B, and car C. We're really graphing distance versus time. It changes it. This is where things get tricky. My horizontal axis, which is my x-axis, that is in time in seconds. My vertical axis is missing. Distance in meters. Shows up right there. We can go down. A legend. We are graphing multiple values. All right. So we're going to need a legend. It's right there. That looks fine. Again, you can change the horizontal axis, minimum, maximum value. I wouldn't worry about that. Logarithmic scale. Again, don't worry about that. Grid lines. You can add more or less grid lines. Again, kind of minor stuff. I really wouldn't worry about it. Remember, the point of a graph is to have something that is easily understandable. This graph tells us very clearly that car B went the furthest, therefore the fastest. Car A in blue was in second place, and car C in yellow was in third place. We've got our graph. It looks fantastic. A couple of things we can do. We can copy the chart, go up here, and paste the chart in. Ta-da. Also, we could insert chart from Google Sheets, and it will pull up which Google Sheet we want to insert it from. Spinning, spinning. That's the one I want. Highlight it, import, and there it is. The exact same thing. So there's two ways to do this. You can copy the chart with these three dots right here and then paste it here. Or you can insert chart from the Google Sheet. Right? So that's how we're going to A, make the chart, and then B, insert the chart. Perfect. The great thing about the insert is, if I change the data here, because it's a Google document, let's say car B goes up to 126.9. I hit return. Notice that is reflected in the graph. And if I go to my data table, I hit update, and it's reflected there as well. Everything is linked. So if you make a change in your data, because you typed it in wrong, you hit update a couple times, it'll make a change in your graph, and then it'll make the change, hit update a couple times in your lab report. So your assignment for your remote learning is I will have published some data for you. You need to make this page your Google Sheets and this page your lab report. Instructions will be with the data, but you've got to follow along with what I did for your remote learning for this week. Have a wonderful rest of your day.